Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Soup Breakdown. Today we're looking at the GN-005 Gundam Virtue. The Virtue is a DLC suit, and there's a lot to unpack with the Virtue, but I think the Virtue might be a little too strong in the way that it's currently in the game. You have this Gurobi that you get 2 charges of that is insanely powerful and can hit and green lock fairly easily. You have the shoulder cannons, which are pretty good. You have the basic shot, which is pretty solid. You have your striker, that thankfully does not have the Gurobi, because then it would be a little too crazy. Because you see how low we brought him already. You have this GN field that makes it completely impossible for you to take damage from most attacks, but is drained really quickly. Or you can spend the GN field to power up your Gurobi. And again, that's insane already, the amount of damage this thing puts out. It doesn't really have melee. Your basic melee is the shoulder shots. You have the forward melee still, which is nice. And you have the back melee, but your base melee, which is normally your bread and butter, does not exist. Your back melee is pretty good. And then your side melee, oh, we got stuck. Your side melee is just more shots, which can be quite effective, as you can see. However, the Virtue's hiding a secret. If you hold melee or left bumper, you can switch to the Nodlay. And the Nodlay is really interesting. It's very fast. It's frenetic, and it does a considerable amount of damage. I wouldn't say as much as the Gurobi, because I definitely think the Gurobi did more. But the Nodlay's pretty cool. To my knowledge, there is no Nodlay striker. But what we can do with the Nodlay now is we can do some really nice melee combos. So for instance, if we come in and we can get him right here, and then hound him. Ah, he shot. You can chase him down and do some considerable damage there. You also have a new basic melee combo that's really nice. It does some really good damage. You have the double shot, you have a stun, you have the second stun that the Nodlay carries with it, because yes, you heard that right, second stun. And then you have the burst. And the burst is different depending on which version of the suit you're in. So we showed off the Nodlay's burst there. We'll show off the Virtue's burst in the next round. But man, this thing is a treasure box of options. And oh boy, is it good. It's a little too good for DLC. But alone, having the option of the Gurobis, having the option of all the different stuff that the Virtue itself has to offer, I think the suit would have been worth it. But then you have the Nodlay, and with the inclusion of what the Nodlay has to offer, it begins to get insane. Because the Nodlay has those 2 stuns. Not 1 stun, but 2. And then has the melee capabilities to really benefit from them. And again, the Virtue, if you're not using the Gurobi as the Virtue, you should really think about using the Gurobi. Because it's real good. It's one of the reasons why I recommend mobility suits so often, is to be able to dodge Gurobis like that. Because it's real good. Just like that. We need to build up burst though, so we can't just spam it forever. We will see if we can do some regular damage to him here. But yeah, the Virtue is absolutely insane. So we ask the question, of course, as always, should you use the Virtue? Do you like long-range suits that also have an entire other form for short and mid? Do you like long-range suits that have powerful beam weaponry that can be used in short range? If your answer to either of those questions is yes, you should use the Virtue. One thing to mention, the Gurobi drains the boost, but it's not really that big of a deal, honestly, when you come into contact with how much damage it does. Come on, hit me just like 2 times and we're good. Come on. There we go. Alright. Now you can see the burst from the Virtue itself. The Virtue burst is a split beam that can be moved. Really fun, really cool. Of course, when you're in Trans Am, You also have more boosts, so you can Gurobi at will, basically. But, yeah, the virtue's real good. With all that said, I have been Trey. This has been the Full Spectrum. And remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that the virtue has to offer.